let us all do we can to build a better future. We got a lot to talk about because this show is action-packed with a lot of stories. So let's get started with our first story, which is what is for brunch? That's right. What's for brunch? Well, it seems like there's a little bit of a trouble in Paradise with the DNC. There's still some infighting. Listen, just a short reminder to everyone, but the Democrats in the House actually had more than just 218 or 219 seats. They had about 230, I believe. Mm-hmm. And again, you know, it's under the leadership of Nancy, you know, Speaker of the House Nancy. I hope that offends somebody. But good old under Nancy's leadership, they lost seats because the moderate, pragmatic Democrats lost their seats because they're extreme centrists and they want to keep things the way they are. But it turns out there's still some more division because I guess the Democrats just don't like progressives and independents. So let's play this first video. Huge shout out to Case Study QB. Follow him on Twitter. He's doing a lot of good work. And he's uploading all this stuff from corporate media because, listen, we got to keep an eye on what these extreme centrists on MSNBC or ABC or CBS are talking about, especially those extreme centrists on CNN, because they're so pragmatic, but yet they're so blind to what's really happening. Let's play this first video.
Sometimes this is like behind the doors, cloak and dagger, secret, and you have to source report it out. This is not in this case. Hakeem Jeffries, who's a key Pelosi deputy, House Democratic Caucus chair, said this to you're an organization, Politico. Do we want to win? Do we want to govern? Or do we want to be internet celebrities? I think it's a useful conversation for us to have because the socialism message wasn't helpful. Well, one of those internet celebrities who thinks she can also govern is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who responded pretty astounding. Some Dems don't believe it's possible to govern, be politically popular, and command formidable bully pulpits at the same time. But it actually explains a lot about how we got here. These are two young rising star Democrats who, from the same state, mind you, same city, who have issues. How much of this is, you know, personal rivalries, and how much of this is a big party problem?
I think it's a mix of both. I think the thing that was notable about what Chairman Jeffries said is he actually said that on a private leadership call to Pelosi and some of the other top Democrats last week before they held a broader caucus call. And then when he got on the caucus call, he did not say that. And so us reporting it, I think some of these so-called internet celebrities like Ocasio-Cortez, they were hearing it for the first time. And like you said, she didn't hold back yesterday. She went on Twitter and kind of put him on blast, essentially. And I got a lot of eyes emojis from members of Congress and staffers yesterday after she tweeted that. Part of this is they're both rising stars. They're both competing for a spotlight. He wants to be speaker in a couple of years. She has a huge platform, millions of followers. They're from the same state.
She's a huge platform, also so-called celebrity.
Part of it is, you know, they're representing really different wings of the caucus, and they're trying to make sure that their muscle is flexed and their voice is heard. And it's part of the broader, you know, struggle that we're seeing in the caucus to determine where it goes next and how it leads in this next Congress when it only has maybe 5 to 10 seats in the majority, which, as you know, is super slim.
Super slim, and President-elect Biden should be watching because the little family feud happening among the House members is going to come to him when they have demands about policy. So it is a fascinating moment, to say the least. Heather Cagle, it's good to see you. Appreciate.
Okay, so real quick before we get to our next video, there's a couple things that's angered me. Number one, I know we're going to be critical of AOC, but the one thing I don't like is throughout the entire segment calling her an internet celebrity.
Or a so-called internet celebrity.
I mean, the thing is, her title is House Representative. And look, whether it's independent, third party, Democrat or Republican, please acknowledge them by their title, senator or House Representative, something like that.
Or Nancy's position is Nancy.
Nancy is just Nancy, okay? There we go. Nancy's just Nancy.
We can all agree on that.
All right, so there we go. Nancy is Nancy. But the whole idea of calling AOC an internet celebrity, again, you know, her first victory over Crowley, who was basically Nancy's successor, her groomed successor to take over.
The same sort of position that the guy that she's now fighting.
Yeah. And I just find it interesting that we're seeing this feud happen. And at the same time, too, to Representative AOC, I mean, this is what happens also when you play ball with these centrist Democrats, are called Nancy Mama Bear, because the Democrats are going to come after you and all the other progressive members of the squad and the newly elected progressives as well. You got to start being more aggressive and really holding these extreme centrist feet to the fire. They're not your friends. You know, we all know that the GOP and Republican establishment, they are who they are. They're very transparent. They're not going to fight for Medicare for all or UBI, but neither are the extreme centrists. They're not going to do that either, because in Biden's platform, he has a regressive cannabis policy. He's not for UBI. He's not for Medicare for all. He's not for student debt forgiveness. He's not for affordable education. He says he's going to listen to scientists, but he's all on board for fracking. I mean, someone explained this to me. What is pragmatic was working with establishment Democrats who don't care, or is it at the new wave of establishment Democrats who don't give a hoot about anything? I mean, this is starting to become very concerning. And for me and Daniel, we've been covering this, these past 4 years of what's happening in Washington, D.C. And, we called it. Working with establishment Democrats, you're just going to get screwed over. Working with the establishment, they will only use you for however long as you are profitable for them. And, this midterm election cycle is going to be the make or break moment. But just remember, the reason why the Democrats don't have the majority like they did early on is because of the DCCC being pragmatic and supporting extreme centrists. Now, again, we're using the word extreme centrist because, let's face it, corporate media calls progressives and independents the extreme left or extreme right or however it is, or smearing progressives. I mean, hey, we could play dirty too, because obviously if you're not going to listen to us or the demands, it's going to keep on, the demands are not going to go away. People want to see change. People want to see things fundamentally change.
Yeah, so I would even say that it's more accurate to call it extreme center. That's why we're using it, because it's an accurate term. It's a point of view that really only helps a very small amount of Americans, although a lot of people have bandwagoned onto it, whereas calling even people on the left that are just left of this very narrow window, progressives extreme, or even the same on the right, both groups are bigger percentages of the population than the extreme center. And again, to AOC, we've talked a lot, we've gone back, if she does something good, we'll go, oh, good job. And then when she continues to do things that we don't like, we're going to keep calling it out. But in this case, we're going to call a spade a spade. AOC is incredibly popular with a lot of people. Doesn't matter our specific points of view on it. The fact is a fact. The fact is she's incredibly popular online. Many people know her. Her tweets carry millions of ears and eyes and so forth. So it's like if the news just wants to go and do their normal thing of like, oh, her policies don't work. And as we did a story a day or two ago where like AOC's literally coming at them with math that like, it's like, yeah, that's math that we've been using. AOC, it's good to see you joining us on this mission. Finally. Even if it might only be temporary. But at the same time, we're going to call a spade a spade. So when the news says she's a so-called celebrity or just refers to her as an internet celebrity, we're going to point it out.
Yep. And look, I hate the hypocrisy of the establishment, but hold on, guys and gals. We're not done yet with brunch. Let's play this next video. Again, huge shout out to Case Study QB. Follow him on Twitter.
Meantime, the president-elect is filling his administration, naming longtime aide Ron Klain as White House chief of staff and reportedly considering former rival Senator Bernie Sanders as labor secretary.
Now, one official tells NBC that Biden has not yet ruled out appointing a Republican who supported President Trump as part of his cabinet, Brian.
Hey, I thought they were bad.
Wow. And Tracy, tell us more about Senator James Lankford and his push to have the president-elect now start to begin seeing daily security and national security briefings.
Meantime, the president-elect
okay, let's go ahead
is
and
filling
pause
his
that. Right?
administration.
That was a short video, but here's the thing. I don't know if Bernie Sanders is going to be selected, and I truly doubt it. I truly doubt that Bernie Sanders is going to be selected as labor secretary. Again, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but this whole idea of Biden building together this cabinet of centrists, corporate Democrats,
Extreme centrists.
There we go. Extreme centrists, as well as, more importantly, Trump Republicans now too.
But wait, I thought those guys were deplorable. I thought we would never work with them.
I thought they were. And the thing is, even if there is maybe one or two progressives in Biden's cabinet, what power do they have when they are going to be outnumbered and outspoken by Trump Republicans, extreme centrists, and other neoliberal Democrats? I mean, let's face it. Their voices will be put on mute if Bernie Sanders or let's say hypothetically Warren were to do that, which I highly doubt.
It'd be funny to give Warren any position. It really would.
Yeah, Warren.
That's less likely than Sanders getting one.
No, Sanders has a better chance than Warren.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. Warren's like, I'm not picking any side. Thanks.
Yeah.
I didn't win my own state at all, or even close.
Yeah, she came on board at the last minute. For
oh my God, a
everything.
mouse skittering through the grass. I'm gonna go catch her.
Yeah, so there you go. No, but this is a problem that I'm seeing with the Biden administration already, and that is there's a lot of people that's going to be in this cabinet, and I'm just wondering who's going to have the loudest voice, who will have the last word, and what will this administration do to really help out working class families? Because Biden's policies, I mean, what are they? Return our soul back to our country? Nothing's going to fundamentally change. Where's our universal basic income? Where's our Medicare for all? How come, here's the thing. I really hate saying this, but how come other countries have figured this stuff out and we haven't? I mean, they have it. We don't. They have universal basic income. We don't. They have Medicare for all or single payer health care. We don't. They are not in like 7 different wars. We are in 7 different wars. We give tax breaks to the top 1%. I mean, other governments, I'm pretty sure they're just as corrupt as ours. But my God, are we heavyweight champions at this? And there has to be a breaking point to where people have to look at this administration and say, what are you going to do? Because if we are truly going to hold their feet to the fire, it's going to require a massive movement. All that celebration and dancing in the streets, yeah, I'm glad that people got that out of their system, but unless you're willing to do that towards this administration as well, we will get somebody worse than Trump. I'm so sorry to say that to you guys, but this isn't over. Remember, Trump got at least a bare minimum, as it stands right now with the numbers for popular vote, like around 70 million votes.
He got more than last time.
More than last time. So that's 70 million voters. That's not a small number. That is not a small number to laugh at. That is not a small number to ignore. And guess what? They're not going anywhere. So unless we, as a people collectively, hold Washington, D.C. accountable, it will get worse, and something worse will arise from that swamp bubble. Daniel, what's the final word?
Yeah, this is why it's been why we've been saying for a while that it doesn't matter who wins, it's gonna suck either way. Because look at it. You have Trump gets into office and it's filled with neocons and neoliberals, and you get Biden elected and it's filled with neocons and neoliberals and like a token force of progressives. It's like the same like Hollywood's like, oh, we need one black person in this movie. Just find someone. They'll die right away. It's a horror movie. It's okay. That's the situation we're dealing with. And that's the situation we knew we would be dealing with. And that's the situation we continue to deal with.